Hello everyone, welcome to today's technique chat. We are going to go over one of my favorite low back release drills, exercises with the lacrosse ball. So this is more of a restorative sort of move. So instead of you thinking that you really want to feel the intensity and really push through this exercise, I want you to do the opposite. So this is more of a gentle, relaxing, feeling and coaxing of the back muscles to relax and release instead of really forcing the stretch or the intensity on this one. So how we're gonna set this up, we're gonna do it on the ground. You're gonna need a mat and a lacrosse ball. You can do this on the floor, but it's pretty intense. So if you have a squishy mat or even a yoga mat and then you put a blanket on top and then put the ball down, it'll allow the ball to kind of squish into the blanket and it'll just be a little bit less intense, which might be really helpful the first time you do it. You can do it straight on the ground or maybe carpet, that would be another good option. You can do it straight on the ground, but it's just a little bit more intense, so things that you need to be aware of. So how we're gonna set this up is you're gonna find on your back, you're gonna walk your hands down, you're gonna feel your ribs, and then right where your ribs stop, there's gonna be a space, right? And then you're gonna go find your hip bones, and then when your hip bones stop, you're gonna enter that space. So for me, that space is a few inches, depending on how tall you are. That space might be different, but we're going to put the ball into that space. So it's not on bone, it's not on your hip bone, and it's not on the bottom of your rib cage. It's just going to be to the side of your spine. So if this is where your spine is, and these paraspinal muscles, the muscles that go up along the side of your spine, that's where the ball is gonna sit. Below the rib cage, above the hip bones, and then just to the left or to the right of your spine. So that's the area where you're gonna put the ball, and then you're gonna lie down onto your back on the mat. This is a pretty squishy mat, so it's taking up some of the intensity of the ball. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lie on my back, put my hands onto my low ribs here, because we're trying not to let the ribs pop up. So the movement, so right now I have the ball to the left of my spine, below my rib cage and above my hip bones. So the movement that we're gonna do is we're gently going to bring the knees to the left and then back to center. So my feet are a little bit about hip width distance apart. I'm gonna bring the knees to the left and back to center. If the ball was under the right side of my spine, then I would go to the right and back to center. Now, when I start to bring my knees to the left, it's gonna get more intense on my back. If you're on a really squishy mat and you don't feel much release, then maybe you could try moving to a less squishy mat or go to the floor. When I take my legs to the left, my rib cage is going to want to pop up so that it lessens the intensity of the ball pushing into my back. We'd like to keep the rib cage down. That's why we're keeping our hands on the rib cage. And if your rib cage is really wanting to pop up quite a bit, then don't take your legs so far to the left, okay? You'll just take them, let's say 6 to 8 inches. So we're not taking the legs to the ground on this one. If you're forcing them to the ground, then you're probably missing the nuance and the gentle movement of this specific exercise. So I'd like you to pair your breath with your legs. So we'll inhale to take our legs to the left, and then exhale to return the legs back. Relax your shoulders so you're nice and relaxed through the upper body. Inhale, legs to the left, rib cage stays down. Exhale, legs return to center. So just to the left and then returning to center. So right at the beginning of this chat, I said we're not forcing our back into the ball and jamming our legs to the side, because that's not what this is about. This is a gentle coaxing of those muscles along the side of the spine that can get pretty tight. Gently bringing the legs to the left with an inhale. I notice when my rib cage wants to pop, so I'm going to stop before that point and then exhale back up to center. So I'll do that about 20 times, just slow and steady. Then I'm going to move the ball a little bit more to the left, so a little bit more laterally, and by a little bit more, I mean like by 1 inch, so not very much. I'll do the same exact movement, just with that ball in a different location. You could potentially bring the ball slightly down. Oh yeah, that's a good spot for me. Or slightly higher, but you're still not on your rib cage, nor are you on your hip bones. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. So you'll find that spot below your rib cage, above your hip bones, just to the left or the right of your spine. Lie on your back, hands on the ribs, bring the knees to the right and back. Inhale as you drop, exhale as you return back to the center point. And the whole point of this is to gently coax those back muscles into relaxing and releasing. Because when they start to let go, this is a great thing to do before like any core work, so dead bugs or side planks or front planks or even deadlifts. Because when those back muscles start to kind of let go, it gives us more access to the abdominal muscles to get some more space. So after you've done 20 times in each position on both sides, stay on your back and take some nice deep breaths into the low ribs, the back and low ribs. So right here, and then go into your workout or into your core work. You can also do this at the end of the day. I've been in the garden a lot, so bending over and kind of reaching and in like a low squat, bent over position. So it's a great way to allow those low back muscles to release. Sometimes they can get tight from doing that. And remember, if you're really like muscling the move, like you're pushing your low back in and you're forcing your legs side to side, make it easier, right? This is not about pushing the ball into your back. This is about trying to gently rest, breathe deeply, do slow, gentle, not huge movements with the legs to the side and then back to center, so that those muscles will start to relax and allow the ball to come into them instead of pushing the muscle down into the ball, okay? So this is a more restorative, gentle sort of movement. I've noticed great differences, because I've been doing this pretty regularly, just on the ability for my abdominals to contract. So if you have had a pregnancy, this could be a really good strategy for that. Or even if you find like you don't feel your abdominals quite a lot, but you feel like your back muscles get really tight, this is a great strategy to just give some more space into the back and allow more breath and ability for those abdominal muscles to contract. Yeah, so try it. As with anything, you get more benefit out of this when you do it regularly. So if you do it one time and you feel benefit and then you don't ever do it again, you're not going to get that long-term sort of change in the back muscles, and you won't get that repetitive sort of ability for the abdominal muscles to load. So do it regularly, do it gently, at the beginning, before a workout, like at the end of your warm-up, or at the end of the day. Both great options. Okay, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.